was going, he's that light-skinned dude, Brandon Inniss, thinking he was going to say, man, hell no, you crazy. But he looked back at me and he said, man, as I watched this boy play, safety, punt the ball.
Quarterback.
He said, who was the last person we saw do that? He said, Sean Taylor.
Yeah.
Listen, I've seen Brandon Inniss impact games, bro, like 7-on-7. I've seen them not play him on defense because he wasn't supposed to be on the Immortals team. They brought him up there later. They losing in the national championship at an Atlanta stadium. Throw him in the game, and I swear to God, he takes the ball from the quarterback. Immediately, they put him in the game. His impact, his attitude, he made Wake go down as one of the greatest South Florida players, if not the greatest South Florida players we ever saw play. He still got, what, 2 years, right?
Yeah.
He's only in the 10th grade right now.
He's only in the 10th grade.
I've seen him since the 8th grade. He's been balling since the 8th grade.
So y'all say, who was the greatest South Florida player y'all ever seen play? And does Brandon Inniss have a chance to overtake
you? Want to shoot this first? You want to go at it first?
I mean, honest for me, maybe just because of my age, it's Sony Michelle. I mean, as an 8th grader, he led the county in rushing. Right. The only year that he didn't put up huge numbers was the year he tore his ACL. I mean, we're talking about almost 7,000 rushing yards. Dalvin Cook, he has like almost 1,500 yards more than Dalvin Cook.
Right.
100 touchdowns in his high school career. Was like the second best running back in the country.
He got the Broward record, right?
Yeah, he's got the Broward record. Yeah.
It's, for me, I'm a public school guy. Honestly, I don't care because I'm biased. You can call it because you playing against better competitions. Like when you playing against Western Minister and you running for 400 yards, like they suck. So I like that. That's for me. I'm not impressed by that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I do like Sony Michelle because I did watch him perform against Central, and Dalvin Cook outshined him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So if I'm going toe to toe, I want to go pound for pound. Right. You know what I mean? Like not like I like kids at Champagne Yacht, right? But you're not playing top tier competition all the time. So I'm always looking at kids from Deerfield, looking at kids at Northwestern, Central, Jackson, Booker T, Carol City, you know what I mean? Because
in the paint, week in and
they
week out.
New Orleans, you know what I mean? Like kids like that because that's top tier competition week in and week out, especially when with the old format. Yeah. The old format was cutthroat.
It's really 6'8", like it's hard to get out of that conference.
It was cutthroat.
What do you think, X?
Man, for me, I could go back to the early 90s. I could go back to when I played. It's two names that's gonna stick out to me. Willie Williams. I seen Willie Williams dominate a football game by himself. And not saying that they didn't have no other players, but
you're right.
When he was on the field, it was like from first play he kills the quarterback, and then the next play he kills the next quarterback. You like, the second name would be because I played against Sean Taylor.
Yes.
It was my first time hearing about the guy. I never knew about him, heard about him. They like, boy, they got this #1, and I'm like, man. Look, I just came from public school. I just transferred from Northern to Pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care.
I was at that game.
Care about no governor.
I was at that game, and I want to chime in on that. Y'all had Brian Bell.
Brian Bell, but he had just passed that year.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about the previous?
No, the previous year.
Yeah.
When Sean Taylor killed y'all.
Yeah.
Now, we're only going from 2000 and now we're talking, but like some old head names are Keith Wilkerson, Mark Raynaud, guys like that. I mean those.
Okay, so that's better. So that's better. What's our starting point?
Go from 2010 to 2020.
2010 to 2020.
With the Central list I did.
From 2000.
See, I think he has a chance to. I think Brandon has a chance to be the greatest we ever saw play.
Yeah.
I saw him as a 9th grader go to the Nike camp and his own from Footballville. Nike camp versus everybody and their mama.
Yeah.
At the Nike opening down here.
Yeah.
He was a 9th grader. So he was a 9th grader. He's an 8th grader.
I remember that. I saw you. I watched your video.
And you couldn't tell who was the 8th grader.
I thought he was a man.
Yeah, and that's as an 8th grader.
I can say, man, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say Teddy Bridgewater. I seen Teddy from Optimus from Bunce Park.
Yeah, he was dangerous.
To wait his turn to Ja'Cory Lee, go to the West, and you seen him.
But what about Freeman?
Freeman.
He only did 1 year though.
Huh? Yeah.
Only did it for 1 year though.
Yeah.
One year and
who was ahead of him? Way
or Gordon, number 12.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
Gordon.
long time ago.
Teddy Arrow started that. Really started the 7-on-17 because he went 7. Every 7-on-17 he went
Teddy
to.
and
smashed it. Yeah.
Tracy Howard, Teddy, Duke.
You know what I'm saying?
No Duke?
Duke.
Duke.
Duke is the greatest high school running back I ever saw play.
Duke.
Yeah, by far, he's the greatest high school runner because I never saw Frank Gore. Everybody always say Frank Gore.
Bro, amazing.
Yeah, I never saw Frank Gore. I always say Duke averaged 11 carries a game as a junior. And I always say if Heidelberg would have ran him like they ran Frank Gore, he would have broke Frank Gore record.
I think that's how I feel about Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, he split. He just split a lot of carries.
But what happened when Yerby went down?
Dalvin started killing it. Started 300 yards, stuff like that.
The same thing. What happened when Duke finally when Heidelberg decided to run him his last playoff stretch.
Yeah.
And Heidelberg knew that if we don't win state now, I will never win a state championship ever in my life.
Absolutely.
And he started running Duke, and he gave him the ball 20 times. And he went off on Glade Central.
Yep.
And he went off on Palmetto.
Yep.
What people don't understand is that was the first time in his career Heidelberg said 20 carries. Yeah. 25 carries. People don't understand that. And he rushed for 1,000 yards in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Because I remember I wrote Heidelberg a letter. His 11th grade year was like, man, listen, you got the best player in the world. Why don't you give him the ball?
Yeah.
And I think he always, beginning of the career, he thought somebody was going to take him. He thought Central was going to take Duke.
Yeah.
So he would hide him. He would spread the ball around. Then it became to his offense. He just started his 11th grade year. He was giving the ball 11 times a carry. But he was still spreading the ball around. He would never feed the man the ball. As a senior, when he saw it was almost over, he just gave it to him.
Yeah.
And he set it on fire, dog.
But
he's the greatest running back I ever saw play.
I think, though, Brandon Inniss is up there, though, man. Because the things that he's going to do, because he's been doing this since the 8th grade.
Yeah, it seems like he's been in high school
forever.
He got 2 more years
I think the one thing he does need to do, and I mean, he's had a lot of individual success, because we're talking about a lot of guys that won.
Yeah.
They've won multiple or one championship.
Yeah, right.
You gotta win.
Ennis has to win.
You gotta win.
You gotta win.
Yeah.
You have to dominate the game enough to where you're saying.
James Williams, I seen James Williams from Optimist to 9th grade dominate that pace, to go to Heritage dominate, to go to Westerns dominate, and come back to. I seen him dominate, and that was his thing. He just needed to win, and he finally won his senior year. So
So this year, I think a lot of people. I think before the year, a lot of people had criticisms about James, and this year he squashed it.
Yeah, he turned it up a whole lot.
So I think.
Why do y'all think winning plays a part?
I think whether we're
I don't
talking
think
about
it plays a part.
when you
But when you look at it, though,
why do you think
it's like that. It's
yeah,
like
when
that
you're supposed to be that
LeBron.
special, when you're supposed to be this anointed special
Yeah,
individual,
you
they
get
feel
that
like you're
W.
supposed to will your team.
Yeah,
win.
you have to overcome the challenges that come with it. I mean,
Right.
greatness, like you can be a great talent, but to be a great player, I think you have to overcome adversity and succeed against.
So you think it's something that Joe Montana had that Marino didn't have?
Yeah.
Y'all do?
I mean, listen. I think there was a situation difference as well. But if you look at
He had
Marino,
Jay Rice.
I mean, but if you look at Marino, the Duke, like the Mark brothers were great.
The Mark brothers were amazing.
And he had arguably the greatest head coach of all time as his head coach.
Yeah.
And whether you say he had dimension or not, but he's a great player, Marino. But is he greater? He's probably a better player than Montana. But is he a greater player than Montana? No.
I think Marino is the greatest quarterback I ever saw play.
He's the most talented quarterback.
And now,
You
when it
can't call
comes to
him the
teams, I
greatest.
think San Francisco had better.
Tom Brady,
I think they had better teams.
when you could go.
Well, yeah,
Once Peyton Manning
right.
came, then
No, not Peyton
No,
Manning.
Tom
I think Brady. I think
Tom
Brady.
Brady's the great.
he's the great. He's probably the greatest.
He is the greatest.
greatest team athlete of all time.
But
Because he know how to get his team to respond.
Here's what I like
the
to tell
game
people.
at the position, the quarterback position, is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah.
What you see now is what Peyton Manning started.
I think Pat Mahomes gonna shout out all that.
Of course.
All right,
yeah.
so to sum it up, you said Sean Taylor, the greatest player you ever saw play. You said
No, we started from two. He
He
said
said 2000.
so. You said who?
210. I said Teddy Bridgewater.
Teddy Bridgewater. You said
Dalvin Cook.
Dalvin Cook.
Sony.
You said Sony
I'm a
Michelle.
Broward guy.
Somehow I missed Sony Michelle whole career, dog. But it started with me saying, do we think Brandon Inniss could
all
overtake?
that.
And we'll see, man. We got 2 years left. We'll see, man. Footballville came here. You got Crib, Fanic, my man X, man. We out.